And here's Johnson being physical, finishing with the left, and he's fired up.
Corey Tulaba, No Ceilings. I'm here today with G League Ignite guard London Johnson. London, appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to chop it up, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I'm excited to get to talk to you today because going through your film has been really fun. You're also somebody, last year I got to watch you for a week at the Nike Hoop Summit. So I've gotten to see you develop over the years. But for people who maybe aren't super familiar with your game, how would you describe yourself to somebody who's never watched you play?
I'd say I'm a scoring point guard. You could some say combo guard, where I could play off the ball and on the ball, but also like to facilitate as well, put my teammates in position to be successful.
People will tend to say like point guard or lead initiator is like one of the hardest positions to kind of learn and master. So you've been in the Ignite program for a couple of years. What was the biggest adjustment as a high school kid who was then all of a sudden being thrust in a situation where they're playing a position, a really tough position to learn against professionals?
I feel like the biggest change that I dealt with was when I first came to Ignite last year, and then I got to practice with the pros and the other younger guys in the program. The speed was just so fast. Like I just feel like everything was going so fast. But once I got the hang of it, I started turning my game speed up, and then it felt more normal.
So I want to kind of take you through some of your film here, and I want to start, the first clip off with. Honestly, I think it might be the best pass that I've seen from any prospect this year. So do you take me through this? Because this is something you do often with this left-handed live dribble hit. You remember this play?
Yeah, I do.
This is a crazy pass, like on a rope right to the shooting pocket. So take me through this play. What are you looking at to kind of set this whole thing up?
Really, I caught the ball, called for the ball screen. And because I think at this point in the game, I had got going pretty well. I was on a consistent little roll. So when I caught the ball, I came off the ball screen, just reading the floor, probing, because at first I was gonna hit the pocket, but then I seen the help man come, and then the X out man had came down kind of early, so that left John open right here. The X man dropped down to the corner, so that left John open on the 45. So when I seen him over, it's a pass I work on consistently in practice and with skills. So I just made that pass, felt comfortable, and then got him right in the pocket and he knocked it down.
Yeah. I mean, they got to know the scout better. You can't leave John open like that, right?
Yeah, John open, not John.
You said you do this type of pass a lot, and I agree. I mean, I could pull up a million different clips of it. This one, really slick too. You get deep into the paint, kick it out to Modest. He doesn't knock the shot down, but yeah, it's just a really high degree of difficult or pass from a point guard which is going to be really valuable at the next level. So, but you got a whole bunch of passes to your game. It's not just that live dribble stuff. This time you're going to kick out to Ron. I think you got really good vision seeing that weak side of the floor. So is that something that you've always had, or is that something that you've kind of learned and developed over your 2 years with the Ignite program?
I feel like I always had what's the word? Kind of I've kind of been comfortable with like the defenders, not worried about the defender in front of me, just looking at the guys that I have to go through next. So I'm not worried about the guy guarding me. I'm looking at the help side and seeing where they're moving, rotating. That allows me to make the passes easier, I say.
You also have the the more basic pick and roll stuff. You got the little pocket pass too. So take me through this. What are you reading? When do you know you're going to hit the pocket pass here?
Pocket pass is something I just recently got into my game more as I came to the pro level. I feel like when the big hedge is kind of flat and that guy's on my hip, it leaves a little angle to slip the ball through. And really, I'm not even reading my man or the bigs man either. It's really just the tag man. If he comes in too much, and it's that hook pass over to that next guy. But if he's late or just doesn't rotate over, then I make that pocket pass. You can see he's kind of late right here.
Yeah, he's a little too late. Ends up on a poster, right? But yeah, you got that overhead pass too. And when you got a threat like Tyler, again, who can roll or pop, it makes it easy. So you seem comfortable both hands with that live dribble. Is a lot of coaches when you're younger will they'll be like, oh, pass with two hands, but you got the one dribble live dribble stuff. So when did you develop that in your game?
I felt like maybe I started in high school. My coach always did used to say that pass with two hands as well, but he never really said it to the guys if you weren't turning it over. So
yeah,
I feel like if he was making smart plays, doing the one-hand passes, then he had nothing to say to you. So then I just kept working on it and getting better at it. It's where it is now.
And then you also have the deceleration to your game when you get in the paint. To kind of fool, the big men, and you have a slick little drop off to Ethan here. So that deceleration move is something that I think we've been seeing a lot in the NBA lately. Luka's really good at it, right? He almost comes to a full stop. So, are there any guys in the league that you are taking little stuff like that from and trying to add it into your own game?
I've been watching I've been up and down watching a lot of Chris Paul and then some Devin Booker. I'd say I watch Chris Paul just because he knows how to get his teammates involved and put them in position to be successful. He might not score a lot of buckets, but he always has a lot of assists. And even when he's not doing something statistically on the stat sheet, he's always doing something. Could be defense or leading somebody where to go. So I pay attention to details like that.
And then now, I think a lot of this opens up your scoring here. So again, that decel is slick. So you using that, that kind of craft, and then, you get the touch finish off the glass. What do you think it does to the big men who come over? Are you just trying to mess up their timing on the contest when they rotate over?
Yeah, I feel like it's harder to time the shot block, and also it might throw the big off, get a little contact in there. I know I've gotten a couple N1s this season just with the slow step.
And here you break it down, and again, another touch finish. Any guys that you like to watch when you work on your stuff at the rim?
Really, I haven't really watched that many guys, but when David Stockton was on the team, we did a lot of different stuff like placement on the backboards and spins and flicks and stuff like that with different finishes like that. So I feel like that helped me a lot. And even though he's not on the team no more, I still continue to work on different finishes like that.
Now, take me through this. We got Kenneth Fareed comes over, and you talk about like the speed of the game and everything. Is there anything here you would do differently as you attack the hoop here?
I'd say I would slow down a little more, and cut my defender off, and then that causes Kenneth to make a decision. Either he has to step up to me, or I'm shooting that little midi, or he could sag back to Ethan. And if he decides to come up to me, you see that corner guy's defender, he ducked in a little bit. That would leave that hook again open to the corner, that hook pass to the corner. I think that's Bob in the corner. Yeah, that's the decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see here. Now it's kind of what you do on this possession. It's a similar play, break the guy down, and you hit that little decel, and you get to your floater. To avoid the shot blocker. And again, you hit the decel, but also that touch floater, and your game in the in-between, I think is, one of the, most impressive aspects of your game, from your float game all the way to your mid-range. One more floater here. And I love this possession because, one, I love your pick and roll setups, but you get your guy in jail a little bit. Keep him on your hip. You use craft. I think your poise and your patience, I think those are two skills that, a guy who plays with the ball in his hands needs. So, when did you kind of develop that?
I felt growing up, I always trusted myself and my handle. I put in the work so that any defender couldn't really take the ball from me. So when they're pressuring me, I wouldn't get sped up. I just stay calm and make the right decision. I feel like that's just been something I've done since I've been little. And now carrying it up here, I slow him down, keep him on my hip, don't get rushed, and then shoot the floater.
Yeah.
I feel like when you slow it down, it just opens up so many more options too, because the defenders have to make a decision.
Yeah, I feel like when you think the game fast, you can kind of play the game slow, right? And when you talk about Chris Paul, like that's why he's close to 40 years old, and he can still be effective because he's just ahead of the game. You know, when it comes to, you know, the chess game of basketball. Now, you know, the other part of that little in between area that you operate in, and you're shooting like 60% on like mid range shots and in that in between area from like 17 in before the at rim stuff.
Yeah.
Is this like your shot? Is this your spot on the floor?
I feel like it just started being my spot when I turned pro, just because the bigs and the bigs and the guards in the G League play a lot of their pick and roll in the drop, so that just leaves the midi open. I feel like that's just one of the easier shots in the game. So I work on a lot of middies and just get into my spots, and that I just knock them down when they see the bigs all the way in the drop. Yeah.
Yeah, and that also, when you're a threat to score in that little range too, it opens up some of the passes too, right? Because the big, I mean,
Sure.
he's dropping back, but if he comes up on you,
Yeah, make a
now
few.
your big can roll. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. But yeah, the way that you get to that little left elbow, really, really impressive. Here you're getting guarded, you know, length of the floor, a little light pressure. I think Jay Gort, and whoop, see ya. Again, he's backing up. So you got a little boogie in that handle too, huh?
Yeah, I feel like I can bring it out when it needs to be brought out. He over anticipated the ball screen, so I hit him with a little setup and he jumped. So I got to the midi right there.
Yeah, that's a little slick. So you have the handle, but you're saying you don't want to like be overly fancy. You want to kind of just save it for when you need it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like keeping the game as simple as possible is the most efficient when it's possible to do that. But I feel like it's always a time and place where you need to bring out something more. So then I feel like I can do that when the time comes.
Yeah, a little flavor, kind of let them know, like, you know, you get a little overeager, you might, you know, end up on House of Highlights or something. Yeah. Now, you know, we see you knocking down the mid-range shot. I think if you're looking at your scouting report, right, a lot of teams are probably going to play you right now going under, you know. So is that kind of the next part of your game, kind of expanding the range out because a lot of these guys are, you know, they're going to sit in a drop or they're going to go under, and the three ball is such an important part of the NBA game now. Do you think that's kind of the next step in your development?
I feel like yes and no. I feel like my catch and shoot three is very, or my percentage on catch and shoot threes are way higher than they are off the dribble. So I feel like one thing I definitely need to work on is just being more comfortable shooting off the dribble. I feel like it's also a confidence thing. So once I knock it down, I might come off the screen and do a little step back with it just because I just made one. So my confidence is feeling good.
Yeah, shooting is about confidence, right? But I think you do have it in your game, and I think, you know, you're like a close to 80% free throw shooter. You deadly in the mid range, and this is what it looks like, right? Like they're going to give you that space.
Yeah,
that's too much. Like, you know, you got to make them respect you, and you do that here. And then you got the catch and shoot game, because I think that's important too, because at the next level, you know, you might be playing with Luka and Kyrie, or you might be playing with Trae Young, or, you know, other guys who have the ball in their hands a lot, right? So being able to play off the ball and share duties is really important. And what I love about this possession here on this knockdown is that, I mean, if we pause it when that ball gets to the short roll, like, you're shot ready. Like your hands are up and you're ready to, you know, 1-2, knock it down. So like when you are shooting it confidently, when you are shooting it well, like what are the kind of things that you're doing as far as like shot prep?
I feel like the main thing is staying on balance. I feel like that's where a lot of my misses come from, either a bad catch, hand placement on the ball, or not on balance, leaning back or leaning forward too much. I feel like that's where my misses come from usually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
Like if I roll my hands up, I can get a good catch and be on balance. So I've been working on that as well.
Yeah, just consistent, same motion every time. And it looks good. I mean, you know, right there. And, you know, I think between the 2 years, you're at like 33, 34% or something like that. If you add in, I think the international tour that you did, maybe even a little higher this year. So the shot is there. I think that's coming. Now, you know, you've gotten a a chance to work with a lot of vets. You mentioned earlier, Pujetter, you got Norris Cole, right? This year, Norris, I mean, he had a run with that Miami Heat LeBron team, right? Like,
Yeah.
as a guard, like, what kind of thing what are you picking their brains and like trying to figure out like how to be effective and have like, a long career in the league?
Yeah, I ask a lot of questions, especially to the vets that play my position, and different things like that. I ask like questions like, what have they gone through in the league that they recommend that something in my game that I can get better on, or that I should work on. Then they tell me that about the different experiences they had with different like players that are very high level, that even some players that are still playing right now. And then they tell me something about players that aren't playing anymore. But I feel like also a lot that I learned is just from sitting back and watching, just seeing what they do, and then just going out and then asking questions about it, and then having me go out there and do the same thing.
If you were selling yourself to an NBA team, what are you telling them, and what reason are you giving them to, invest in you as a player?
I'd say I could do whatever, as a player, I could do whatever you guys need me to do, from playing 1, 2, or 3. Great on-ball defender, can read the pick and roll well, can put my teammates in position to be successful, positive energy, supportive, then can put my teammates in position to be successful, and then can also score when I need to.
Well, that's, you said it once, said it twice, it means it's important, right? So, London, it's been a pleasure chopping it up with you, man. I appreciate you, taking the time. I know you had a busy day today. So, appreciate you taking the time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.